The following recording took place on Zoom in July of 2021. The speaker, an SA old-timer with 22 years of sexual sobriety, gave this talk on the topic of Step 2 to the SA group of Sydney, Australia. This YouTube channel is not affiliated in any way with Sexaholics Anonymous. For more information, you can visit sa.org.
Morning, everybody. It's good to be here. Good to wake up sober, and it's good to have the meeting this morning. Actually, my head's a bit all over the place. Actually, just had a very emotional time the last few days. A lot of emotion going on. Stuff, and I just noticed yesterday it was affecting me, and I called some members and checked in on it, and I started to feel better right away. I just think that it's so important that for me that I stay connected with the members, whatever I'm going through, and like life is like ups and downs, and it's like being on a sea sometimes, and all these waves of all sorts of problems coming at you. But underneath that, like, is the gratitude of being sober, that I don't have to act out today. And if I do act out, I'm not going to be well. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to do the things I'm supposed to do. I won't be responsible. I won't be reliable. I'll just be behaving like a complete lunatic. And there is no kind of happiness to be had in all that. But this thing of like step 2, I just wanted to start because there is a reading in the 12 steps and 12 traditions. And when I came around first, I couldn't make sense of it. It was like kind of rocket science or something about all these iron lungs and, sort of things about faith and God, and sort of I found it quite complicated. And then somebody mentioned that second step prayer to me. And so it really, really just like switched on this second step, like just it was like a light bulb moment came on, And the prayer is, God, I'm standing at the turning point. And I say it many times each day, whenever there's an opportunity to lust or to look or to engage with lust in any way, I say to God and to myself, God, I'm standing at the turning point because I can go back. There's nobody going to come and say, hey, Cathal, don't do that, and, bail me out. Like, so it's my own decision. Do I want to be sober today? Like, I really do. It's the only chance I've got. And I check that in and say, look, I can't go through another slip, another slide and come back. I just wouldn't make it back. Because my disease progresses over the years. And, I have so many opportunities now with my work. Like, it's just incredible. I've just been flooded with work, and it's all really well paid, and it's all really interesting, and it's just amazing, And when I came to SA, like 23, 4 years ago, I didn't have a job, really. I wasn't really able to work properly. And I think along the way, my higher powers kind of got my imagination going, and I can make a contribution today to society and use my gifts and talents as God wanted me to use them, and get paid as well. It's a real luxury, actually. And I know if I did anything with lust today in any way, if I went towards it, if I took even the tiniest step towards it, all that could be gone in a second, The work relationships I've built up around me, the people relying on me, And it's nice to be able to make a living and to be able to do stuff, So like just having that, like being conscious of being at the turning point. Like I've already said, like I am powerless over lust. I know that for sure. And it made my life very, very unmanageable. I don't have an unmanageable life today, only when I start rushing and get into indecision. And I try to save myself from those by just doing the next thing. What did I plan to do here? And just doing one thing at a time. And, I've improved in so many areas of my life. So, it's like lust is like this kind of carrot or whatever, always dangling there in front of me. Sometimes it's more apparent than others. Sometimes I just forget about it completely and sort of be almost normal. And other days, then it's kind of in my face. And the weather here is very hot at the moment, and there's a lot of kind of nakedness around, and people taking off their clothes and all this stuff. And I find, my eyes pick up on flesh, and I have to just look away, and I choose to look away. Um, and I'm at this turning point with my disease. I've turned towards the program, I've turned towards my higher power, I've turned towards the God of my understanding, and that's where I want to stay today. I enjoy it a lot. I love being sober. It's like freedom for me. I'm not chained to go out there and find the next act out, driving around the country like a maniac, looking for act out places and then acting out and then coming home and then going out doing it again the next 5 minutes later. Like I was really hooked, and it was very, very hard to stop. Like it was like putting the brakes on a big juggernaut going down a hill. Um, so this second step is very important for me, and I love the kind of the freedom it gives me because I'm making the decision to turn towards my program, my higher power, and all the good things I've learned in SA. So God, I'm standing at the turning point right now. Give me your protection and care. I need help. That's the realization. With this damn brain I have, I need help. My brain is upside down when it comes to lust. It'll tell me lies. It'll tell me, look over here, Carl, this one's going to be good, and don't miss that one. And oh, you missed that one. You should have looked. And it'll conjure up all sorts of insanity for me to look at. So, I'm asking for protection and care from my higher power for today to get through the day sober. That's my goal. How do I do that? I work my program, contact members, pray. I have a nice little prayer routine I do, and I've tried to deepen my faith as well. I find that helpful. And I just, I can just be quiet and be sober, clean up the dishes, and just have a kind of quiet day, just being sober. Like there's no kind of big stress on me, I just go quietly doing one thing to the next. And so I asked my higher power for protection and care. I'm standing at the turning point. I acknowledge that. And I want to give up the next part is as I give up my old ways and my old ideas. And I have some really toxic old ideas, and they're still very much alive in my head. And I need to share them with my sponsor or a member. I write them out sometimes on a page. I just share them, whatever it is. I couldn't care less. Embarrassing stuff, body stuff, doesn't matter. I just got to get it out. I need freedom today. I can't be going around with this kind of stuff festering away in my head. And I need to get free of it. And when I check it in and get real and get honest, it's like the fungus goes out of my brain, and that's just such a good feeling, it really is. And my disease tells me, Carl, don't share this stuff. You need to hold on to this. This stuff is good. This is the real liquor here. Like this is the 98% proof. This is the whiskey of the mind. You need it. Don't get rid of that one. Keep that idea. That's a new idea. That could work. And yeah. Well, we won't act out today, but it's an idea. It's like having a bottle at the back of my brain. And today I've decided I'm going to share all this crap that's in my brain from yesterday because it still was there when I woke up this morning. And I can do that one-to-one. It's very helpful. Sometimes share. We have a local meeting here on a Sunday night, and we can get really honest. If it's a small group, we sometimes get really honest and say, like, just what is going on between your ears at the moment? What is the information in there? It's just information. It's false information. Because I know acting out won't make me happy. Like I know it won't deliver the life I want. This is my last chance at it, this is like the Bugs Bunny show, after this show's over, that kind of like, hey guys, the show's over. Bugs Bunny runs away, or he gets splatted on the road, splat. And I don't want to be splattered today by lust. So I'm going to avoid all oncoming crazy traffic in my head and in my ideas. And, that having a good, like, God direct my thinking. That's the other one. There's a prayer in the big book like says, God direct my thinking. I sometimes say that, like, and I sometimes just go to bed and I can't sleep and I just go, God, 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 God. And I fall off to sleep. It's amazing. Um, and I do feel that my higher power is looking after me. My higher power is going to bring me good things today. There is really incredible pain in my life at the moment, and I'm powerless over it. But there's also some really, really good things, some beautiful things, and I'm hanging in there for the beautiful things. I don't really like the pain, and I'm powerless over it. But I'm not going to act out on it today. I think that's the thing. Like, because I acted out on resentment, I acted out on anger, I acted out on grudges. I acted out I just act out to act out. I didn't need any reason in the end at all. It was just in the middle of the day. I'd be acting out with myself in the room and in my house or in my apartment or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then feeling this is insane. What kind of person sits at home acting out with himself at 2 o'clock in the day? Um, only a sexaholic like me. Um, so this protection, I've got asked for protection and care, and I get it. And I want to give up these old ideas because they're so toxic. I want to give them, I'm willing to walk away from them. I don't need them anymore. They don't work so good. Um, and that second step prayer has been a real breakthrough for me, and I love it a lot. I can go on to I found step 3 was quite easy to understand. So I've given my will over to God. Yeah, fine, no problem with that. I can do it because someone said if I gave my life and my will over to the care of a dog, it'd probably make a better job of it than I was when I was acting out. So I can give my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand God. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But that second step was like, this. I knew I came to believe, and I could see the guys had sobriety in Ireland. Like, we had a couple of members who came in and got sober right away. And Robert has, like, he's up there on 27 years now, and that was the big thing that, like, when Fergus came to Ireland and he said he had 3 years sobriety, we could not believe it. It was like, we never met anybody who hadn't acted out for 3 years before. And for us, it was impossible because all we could get was like a couple of weeks. And he showed us and he said, yeah, you don't have to act out today. Don't have to do it. It's a choice. And I got to take responsibility as well. For my actions, if I drive into a dodgy part of town, if I go in a bookstore, if I look up something on the internet, I don't. But, like, if I do, I have to take responsibility for it. I had an incredible way of fooling myself that I wasn't responsible for where I went, the people I was meeting. I just kind of ended up there, And sure, yeah, I was hypnotized by the lust and the acting out, and it is very hypnotic. It's a hypnotic drug. And if I went anywhere near if I went on the perimeter of the dodgy parts of town, suddenly I'd be in the middle of the dodgy parts of town. I'd say, how'd I get here this time? Just like the guy in the big book, he has a little bit of whiskey in the milk, that story. And then he says, like, he ends up in another town, really pissed out of his brains. And he's saying, like, how did that happen? Well, he made the decision somewhere. He made the decision to put some whiskey in the milk, And if I'm making decisions like that, I have to be responsible. I have to get real and say, yeah, I'm going to throw my life away here. I'm going to damage myself. I'm going to take crazy risks. But I don't today. I don't want to. But there is a kind of reactive brain in there. It's like I have this kind of Taliban in my head, which wants to blow everything up sometimes if it's not going my way. And then I need to stay very close to the program, So, I've got a car and I've got a car phone yesterday. I was in the car for 3 hours driving, and I just said, hey, Siri, call this member. Hey, Siri, call that member. Hey, Siri, call that member. I spoke to members all the way for 3 hours. And it was real fun, one of the members was really struggling with mental health, and we had a great chat, and it was just lovely, and like we have, he's doing really well and wants to be sober. Um, whatever problem I have, acting out is going to make it 1,000 times worse, for sure. So it's important to hang in there if you're going through stuff like health problems or emotional problems or relationship problems or money problems. I just gotta hang in there. I gotta hang with the members. I gotta check in. I gotta be like, I go and see members like really quickly sometimes, and it really helps to hang out with the members because I can laugh and I have a great laugh. We have a great laugh. We have a great home group here in Ireland. We do laugh a lot, because we're totally crazy. We are about like 8 of the stone craziest, insane people I ever met. Anyway, if you sit down, and these guys don't look crazy, but when they start talking, it's like, they're just nuts. The stuff they've done, and oh man, and I'm one of them. I'm the same. Like the stuff I've done for this disease, like you would not, like you just go, oh my God, cretin of the year award, you know. But not today, not for 20 years, 22 years, whatever now. And it's only one day at a time. And I need to run a fairly tight ship with this stuff because it's like seeps into me, it's like little thoughts become ideas. And ideas can quickly kind of turn into actions if I'm not careful. So I have to be conscious that I'm not taking any step towards lust today whatsoever. That's it. No way. I'm going to take steps towards the program, and I'm going to just like keep doing that all day. I don't care. This is the best life I ever had. And it's important to remember that, like, I am a miracle. I'm an absolute miracle. I was like, if you met me 22 years ago, like you just passed me by in the street, you would not say hello to me. Like, I was psychiatrically insane. I was blocking up the local kind of health services, like with all my problems. And sure, when I'd act out, I'd go looking for sympathy from like healthcare providers and get appointments. I used to hate waiting in line for the next appointment just to see this psychiatrist or psychologist and go in and talk about all my acting out and trying to get them to feel sorry for me. And, haven't been back to any of these places in 25 years. So it's a miracle. And I don't want to go back. I'm not going back to any of them either. And I was talking to a member yesterday who's in a mental hospital at the moment, and the psychiatrists are trying to figure out why is he acting out. And I said to him, "You're acting out because you're a sexaholic." And these psychiatrists cost like, €150 an hour, and we'll look at you and we'll do a diagnosis. Yeah. And why, they try and go back to your childhood, why you do all this stuff. And yeah, it's all great. Like, it can be helpful, but ultimately it's not going to fix your problem. Because the psychiatrist isn't going to share his, experience, strength, and hope with you. Like, I have this experience of being in a totally insane place with lust, where I couldn't like, one day I was in my apartment and I was sharing it with 2 others, and I went down to get a pint of milk for breakfast, and I came back 3 days later. I just acted out straight away. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. I went off and I went to another city. I came on the train. I didn't have even a bag with me. I just had a jacket and I just left. I got this compulsion and went away for 3 days acting out. And when I came back, people said, where's the pint of milk? We thought you were getting milk for breakfast. What happened? And I was just like, that is the level of insanity. And I was talking to a member last week who went to Thailand, and he's sitting around a table with 3 guys who went to Thailand as well. And one was a businessman. His wife thought he was on a golf trip. Another guy, his wife thought he was doing some business deal in Germany. And the third guy said, well, I just went down the road for a pint of milk and I ended up in Thailand. And that is my level of insanity. That's what I'm dealing with here. Make no mistake about it. This is a cruncher, this disease I have. And it's not going to let me go if I start messing about with it, And I think that's the realization that I'm a dead man if I touch it, And I don't care if I have to stay on the phone to Jason in Australia. I'd swim to Australia to find a member, or swim to China. I don't care. I'll walk, I'll keep going just to get that help to get through the day, you know. I'm just determined to hang out in my steps and my higher power. Um, so the other thing that, if you know, the other thing that's a proven recipe for success is having sponsees. You know, getting through your I just flash on to steps 4 and 5. Get through those steps as quickly as you can. Don't dilly dally, because you'll benefit. And once you've got through steps 4 and 5, I was told you can get a sponsee. And I even have some of my sponsees picking up a sponsee after step 1, because they can do step 1 with the sponsee. And having somebody ring you every morning where you got to check in and say, well, what did you do last night? And say, yeah, well, I stayed sober. I didn't go near any computer and stuff. I didn't do anything stupid. It's really, really helpful. You know, they say if you want to learn something, teach somebody how to do it. So if you go and bring somebody through the steps, you're going to really help yourself. And it's fantastic. I have to say, having sponsees is the greatest gift in my life. And I've had sponsees where it didn't work, and I was chasing them around the place trying to get them to work their program. But I don't have any of those today. I just give up if they don't want to work it. And I say, you know, I'm not the right sponsor for you. Just maybe you need to find somebody else. If they're still messing around and porn and doing all that crazy stuff, it does my head in after a while. I can do it for a bit and have a few slips, but like ultimately, like, we got to be about stopping and getting into service and rocking with the program, you know. So having sponsees is so essential and such an important part of having a sponsor, having sponsees, and then get involved in service in SA. Like, that's been a blessing for me, you know. Even in you know, they say when I came to program first, they says, you know, hold the door open for guys, you know, put out the chairs, you know, put the chairs away after the meeting, just do simple stuff, no brainer stuff. You don't have to take on a big project or anything. Just turn up for the meeting, leave out the literature table, whatever, you know. Get the hand sanitizer out, whatever you can do. It's all a contribution, you know. And when I do those little things, I feel better, you know. I feel I'm being of service. And my sponsor says that's really important, to be of service to others every day, you know. And I'm of service in my work, I'm of service in my program, and you know, that's a good day for me. I'm not so self-centered nowadays. Self-centeredness just kills me dead. So becoming a sort of a helpful member of society is really good. And there's loads of, you know, people in Ireland, members to all sorts of things for leisure, and joining tidy towns committees and getting involved with any service in their neighborhoods. You know, there's loads going on. That can help as well. You know, locking onto the program, I can't, like, this thing of, like, I remember once, oh yeah, I was in a job and the boss fired me, and I was kind of shook. I was traumatized by it, and I wandered into an acting out area and thinking, this is not a good idea, Cathal. And I called my sponsor immediately, and he said, I can't have any excuses. You know, I just can't. Even if I wake up tomorrow and my house burns down and someone says I've got cancer, I've got 6 weeks to live, I just can't have any excuses to act out. Because if I've won, I've got 1,000, you know. And I think being really honest with myself and being honest, like, you know, that, like, this is my last chance. If you think that the faulty thinking is comes in with the acting out, like a lot of people, when they get sober for a while, they're sober for a month, it seemed like I used to think, God, it's inevitable that I act out. Like, after 6 weeks, I just have to, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And when I got through those days, you know, and do the next right thing, I think it's very important to have a sober plan for your day. And certainly when you're getting sober first, not to spend too much time on your own, because I just wasn't capable of being on my own for like a year. I was constantly, I went and hung out with my family. I had friends over. I was going from one meeting to the other. It just wasn't safe for me to sit at home on my own, because immediately I'd sit at home on my own. I was in a bad neighborhood, and the thoughts would come, and next thing the ideas would come, and next thing, like, you know, I had no one to sort of think, well, where's he gone now for these few hours, you know, so I could disappear. So what I used to do is I used to go out in early sobriety, go out and hang out with my family, and I'd sweep the floor and and get them cups of tea, and I just sit around. I just found being around people was helping me, even if they weren't SA members. They were, at least they were just ordinary sober people. Like, so build a lot of addicts. When we've been acting out for years, we've broken all the relationships around us. So we're very isolated then, and it takes time and effort to get back into kind of relationships around you. But you will find. I was talking to a member yesterday who recently moved town, and he was going to the same veg shop for about 15 years, and he moved away to another town, and I'm sure you wouldn't mind saying it's Nicholas, actually. He was going to the same veg shop for 25 years, and he used to always have a lovely conversation, he said, with the veg guy. And he's moved to another part of the UK now. And he said, you know what happened yesterday? The veg shop guy called me and said that he misses me coming in. And he wants to come and visit me, And so, there are people in your neighborhood, like, there's people who need help around you. Like, there's people with disabilities. There's people in hospitals you can go and visit. Myself and my brother have a very good friend who's had a really terrible stroke, and we kind of go and see him once a week. And I find, just doing simple things like that really helps me a lot. Get involved with your local world around you. You need to get involved with people, good people. There's all sorts of little organizations. Like, if you haven't got a very strong home group and you're on Zoom and stuff, you're going to have to fill in that time, getting involved with good people doing sober things, helping people in some way, So beyond that, I'm always on, so that kind of thing has helped me a lot as well. And this is the sober life, this is what we're told to do in the big book. And I think I'll wrap it up there now and just maybe open it up for questions and Q&A, Jason. Thanks.